any of that stuff.
I know.
I want to be your scorn. Oh, radio. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. When's this going out? Hey, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. Jason, we're recording. We're not doing this live. We're recording this. We just had a really big lunch. So
Yeah, huge lunch. We're going to take a nap here in the studio.
Yeah, probably should do it before lunch. These shows will be a little more energy, but we'll try and we'll persevere. Don't worry.
We will endure. We are broadcast professionals at such a high level. You will not be able to tell the difference in the quality of the show.
What about the Elon?
Today is today's theme. Where's your Lambo? I couldn't think of a better one.
Well, I got to tell you, I saw something. I saw Sandy Monroe going off, and it's the same thing. It's just clearly, we're talking about Elon Musk right now. He is a man without a party, right? Like he's not good on the right because he's all about saving the environment, global warming, doing all that stuff, and so that nobody wants to embrace him on the right. And on the left, he's like, I'll never have a union shop.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. You would be taking money away from my workers in California. There's a lot of people who work on that assembly line that are millionaires in Tesla stock.
That's right.
Right? They've been there for 10 years, and a ton of money they've made, and their retirement is well secured, better than any UAW program that's out there. Mm-hmm. And so here's this guy just keeps getting kicked around. It's just like it's so sad that here's a guy who's just basically he's going to have the number one automotive company in the world. That's how I see it. Yeah. It's absolutely happening. It's going to take us to Mars. He's bringing the fastest internet you've ever seen in your life to the entire planet. Right? And then on top of that, he's just revitalized the space industry. Now, most of what he's doing, all that stuff, is right here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's any politicians that should be wrapping their arms around Elon, it's Texas politicians.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? He's got the rocket engine assembly and test ground north of Waco. They've got Tesla being the largest Tesla factory in the world, being built outside of Austin. Across the highway from that is where they're making, if you know, Flatty McDishface. Do you know who that is?
No.
Flatty McDishface is the satellite system.
Oh, that's funny.
They call him Flatty McDishface. And then he runs Boca Chica, and he's ordering from Texas suppliers. And absolutely, this guy is going to be. I don't think they're. I'm going to say he's probably 3 years away from being the number one employer in Texas.
Oh, I don't know. Man.
Top 10?
You mean in total employees?
Yep.
Oh, I don't think so. There's some gigantic. The largest. Oh, that's a good question. Let me look. I bet the largest employer in Texas is probably TxDOT.
You think have more? Well, I mean non-government.
Okay.
So yeah, private business. I think the guy's going to have 100,000 employees here.
Let's see. That's a good question. Let me look.
Yep.
Well, it's certainly not Mr. Texas Real Estate.
Not yet, no. So we're looking at that, and I'm just seeing them get beat up by Biden because these unions built this country. Yeah, we get it. We totally get it, right? We understand. I'm a union guy myself, but here's a guy who's innovating, leading everything that's good about America, innovation, creating jobs. They actually make and assemble their cars here in America, right? Which is a huge, huge deal. On top of the rockets, on top of the satellites, they're doing this stuff right here in this country, and not one side of the aisle can give that guy a pat on the back.
So, non-governmental, Chevron with 10,000.
So he'll be the number one employer, private employer in the state.
Yeah.
He's hiring 10,000 right now for Gigafactory.
I wonder why it's not. I didn't think the Apple corporate office in Austin was that big. There's 6,500 people there.
Yep.
I didn't realize it was that big.
So you take Tesla, you take the battery company, you take the satellite company, you take SpaceX. I think he'll be close to 100,000 in the next decade.
I wonder why he's not on this list now. That's the top 25.
He probably doesn't have enough. I would say there's only a couple thousand down because most of the employees down in Boca Chica are 1099.
Ah, okay.
They're hiring in-house now.
Yeah, the to break in the top 50, you need 4,500.
Oh, again, he'll be top 10 in no time, right?
Interesting.
So if there's anyone need to wrap their arms around him, it's our politicians. Some and either side of the aisle, right? But he's a little taboo, right? You don't want to put your arm around the tree hugger guy, right? But he's not a tree hugger. He's an industrialist.
Right.
He's just a clean industrialist.
Right.
And you don't want to put your arm around on the other side because he's a non-union guy. But we're in a non-union state. It's a right-to-work state, right? So, man, it is not a fair shake for that guy.
No.
Not at all. They're like, and then every time, then the media, there were over 200,000 car fires in America last year. Right? There were less than 25 Tesla cars that caught on fire.
Yeah.
And he's getting investigated for car fires.
Well, he's just a target.
He's just a big target.
I mean, it's the same reason we're a target, right? Got a big mouth, say crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're successful. They're like, oh, well, let's go after this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's you're just a what did he call it? An attack vector.
Yes.
Right? That's why he sold all those houses in Southern California. He's like, I can't. There's too much. I can't defend it all. Is really what he's saying, right? So, plus I've heard him say his favorite house is the little 1,000 square foot house he's got in Boca Chica, right? Yep. It's kind of funny. But I can't. We were having an Elon Musk discussion last night. I'm like, you got to realize how incredibly brilliant this guy is. Like a whole nother level. Like people don't get it.
Yes.
And then so this is what I did last night. I was at the NAREP event. So big thank you to Erica and everybody else that had me out there. I had an absolute blast. Oh. A really great event. Completely sold out. It's $50 a head. And it was cool. I kind of want to steal the concept, to be honest with you. But it was really cool. They had speakers.
That was Michael Boyd event. He used to do that.
Oh, he did?
That's how he did it, yeah.
So they had it's $50 a head.
Yeah.
A couple of drink tickets. They had dinner. And every table had a different expert in some areas. So I was the expert at beginner real estate.
There you go.
So my little joke with everybody is like, I'm an expert at beginning, nothing else. Right. So, and of course, whenever people, you always get that, there's always that one guy that sits down at the table and is like, okay, well, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and explain. We're not going to do an introduction. I'm like, look, man, what questions you got?
Right.
And, the other question I get too is, and this young guy asked it, and he said, hey, in your business, do you have people doing this and people doing that? And I said, look, man, I buy 7 to 9 houses a week.
Right.
Like we're like 30 million a year and we'll be 60 next year. And he goes, okay. And I said, I can tell you what I'm doing, but it'll be of absolutely zero value to you. So you explain to me what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So because I've been where you've been and we have worked with enough people, like there's no situation we haven't encountered yet. Right. Yeah. But it was this fascinating discussion with folks where it was, and I started every single discussion. I think I got 7 groups through. And I started the discussion with, hey guys, most people don't know who they are and they don't know what they want. And this guy looks at me and goes, well, I want to make $10 million a year. I'm like, no, you don't. You do not.
Hey, we're going to keep going on that when we come back. This is Robert Jason with world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. Check us out on our website, mrtxre.com. We'll be back. Yeah, you don't want to make $10 million a year.
No, it's awful. Welcome back, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
$10 million a year. That's what I want to make.
I'm like, you do realize 60% of that will be gone in taxes, right? So you just stroked a $6 million check to Uncle Sam. And he was like, yeah, okay. I said, here's what you do. You roll all that into the next deal, the next deal, the next deal, next deal. And there's some other crafty ways where you can save about $500,000 a year. We'll talk about it at some point in the show. It's extremely advanced. But, and it's really not for most people. They just don't get big enough. But, yeah, I want to make $10 million a year. I'm like, why? Like, I feel like I have a crazy life already. What are you going to do with $1 million a month, wild man? Like, I just didn't get. I was like $1 million, like $1 million a month.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy a pretty nice house just about anywhere for about $1 million. So you buy 5 or 6 of those, but you don't have time to go to them.
Yeah,
because you're too busy working to make another $10 million.
It doesn't work. But again, there's wrong motivation, right? They're listening to the wrong people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to fill your garage with McLaren F1s, I mean, they're 20 mil a pop. So maybe I can understand that. But anyways, 10 million. And I'm like, okay, what do you really want?
All right.
Like, sit down and
figure it out.
Figure it out. Like, the name of today's show is Where's Your Lambo? Do you really want a Lambo? Okay, well, what does that really cost?
I don't want a Lambo.
Okay, well, that's okay. It's just kind of a
Cybertruck.
cheeky way to get people thinking, like, what is it that you want? And we actually talked about this earlier this week. The problem is you can constantly get better and better and bigger and want more and more and more and more, and then you're never satisfied.
Yeah.
And
it's called the insatiable appetite.
That's right.
Yeah, because you don't know any better.
Because you don't know, right. Yeah. But at some point, some things have to be like...
Yeah, no, but that's the guy who basically runs out into the middle of the woods and, starts yelling and screaming and goes crazy and comes back, and then he's a complete opposite, right?
Right,
I don't want any of it.
No, I don't want any of it, right? Yeah. I had this really interesting conversation one night, and I said, and I don't know how it came up, but I said, you know what power really is? What true power is restraint. Because you're powerful to do whatever you want, whenever you want, but it's that restraint, right? So, okay, so now you got this unlimited amount of money. Now what are you doing? I mean, are you just going to go down this like crazy path? And
right.
I mean, I don't get it. Like, what's the real point here? So I think a lot of people, again, it was highlighted last night. It's like, what are you guys really trying to accomplish here?
I think a lot of people don't understand how things aren't that expensive that you need to make $10 million a year.
No. You know how cheap it is to rent
jets,
a yacht?
Yeah, yachts.
A jet
doesn't have to be that expensive.
Like a jet's about $5,000 a flight hour.
Yeah,
private.
You make $500,000 a year, and even then, it's hard to spend.
I can't spend it now. It's like it gets so ridiculous. You start looking at it like, would I rather have a Lambo or another beach house? Beach house.
I'll take another beach house.
It's like, would you rather have a Ferrari or lake house? Lake house with a boat. You know, But then at some point, like, okay, we got all that stuff covered. Now what?
Then you stop. Then you give it all away. I told you.
All right, give it all away.
You can give it all away to the poor. You can give it all away to those aspiring to be you, or you can do scavenger hunts.
I like the scavenger hunt. The $100,000 scavenger hunt.
I'm going to go buy like real gold bars, and I'm going to go hide them somewhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
A little treasure.
How big is they're what, 1 kilo?
Mad world.
Those bars are a kilo, I think.
So what would that be worth?
Well, it's measured in ounces. Let me see how heavy is a real gold bar. How heavy is a gold bar? And they're at $2,000 an ounce. Yeah. Oh, it's 12. Oh, geez, it's 12.4 kilograms. Wow. That's 1 kilogram brick can be a standard 32.15 troy. Oh, it's 400 troy ounces. So 400 times 2,000.
There you go.
2,000. That's about what. Those are $800,000 each.
There you go.
So you're going to take gold bricks. And hide them.
Hide them. Gotta hide them somewhere.
Yeah. You know, this is kind of funny because it brings up the other question when they tell you, like, 10% of your portfolio should be in precious metals. And I'm like, where am I going to put 40 pounds of gold? I'm just going to keep a few $1 million of gold at my house? I mean, come on.
I'll put them in bars and hide them, and then I'll just make sure that, if I need them, I can go dig them.
You can go dig them up. Yeah.
I told you about my buddy who's a gold dealer, right?
Oh, yeah. And he got all the jewels and stuff?
He got all the jewels, and then they got cougar rounds.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, listen, this is worth a lot more than I can pay you for it. You sure you want to give it to me? Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, we just need the money. He's like, I can only pay by the ounce, right? And so
That's crazy.
He's paying like,
by the ounce for cougar rounds, huh?
He's paying $3,000 for a $20,000 coin, right?
Interesting.
And so then he's got to, over time, he just doesn't give those to the smith, right? To the smelter, and he holds them. And what happens? He's got like bag of precious metals and a bag of like gold and ancient coins, and he's like, I didn't know what to do with it. I can't convert it because I'm going to get killed on taxes, so I'm just going to bury it. He literally has a buried treasure somewhere.
That's funny.
It's a great, great story. When he was going through it all, he's like, I was getting hit up with so much tax. We were making so much money. And I'm like, I don't want to convert this.
See, a guy like that would be perfect for the podcast. Yeah. Find my buried treasure.
Find my buried treasure. Yep.
Actually, today is the first meeting of the 1% Alpha group, and it's going to be interesting to see the guys that show up to this thing, because I get a feeling there's going to be a lot of crazy stories.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to be on the new podcast, man. This is going to be fun.
Well,
we bought a house from a guy, and he said, hey, man, I'm selling this. My brother passed away, had cancer. It's awful, right? But he's pretty old. He's a lot older guy. And he said, he tells our sales guys, tells one of our agents and says, hey, man, he used to collect coins, and I think there's some Cougarans in one of those walls.
Nice.
And our guys are down there with metal detectors. I'm like, we said, hey, where did you hear that story from? It was like, well, on his deathbed, he said, there's some Cougarans in the wall there. And I think he's just screwing with his brother, right?
Right, yeah.
So our sales guys go down there, and they're like starting to like look through some of the walls and knocking on them and all that. I'm like, dude, he was just messing with his brother. Like, there's no $1 million in coins.
There's always money in the banana hut.
In the banana hut?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's anyway, let's keep going.
FedEx guy's here, and I'm waiting for a present.
No.
Waiting for a
that
wasn't FedEx guy?
Yeah, that's FedEx.
Okay.
UPS.
UPS. Okay.
Again, so once you have it all, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Right? And so maybe you're trading too much time for this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're missing things, right? And again, we're just asking folks to sit down and give us 5 years to get to your goals. And a lot of people are doing it a lot quicker. And then they just keep going. And I'm like, hey, man, you got to stop. You're like, you got 11 doors and you got 2 Airbnbs. We got to take a little time out here. We got to figure some things out. We got to make sure that our portfolio is balanced and doing those things. And again, for us, in our mastermind, we've got now people just racing. And so it's going to be just the opposite story we're going to be telling. Like, we put some reins on some guys and said, hold up there, fella. Let's take a look, and you may be done.
Yeah, you're moving so fast you don't realize you're done.
All right, you may be done. You may not have to do this. And that's always the fun part, right? So, again, for me, this is top of mind because I've been doing a lot of real retirement investigation because, again, I'm 28 months away trying to figure out what's going to happen, what's it going to look like. Will it be an active retirement? Will it be semi-work retirement? Or will I just keep blowing past that number and just keep working as many hours as I do today? So we're trying to figure all that stuff out. And I'm looking around saying,
Lambo.
I'm going to,
somebody, one of us has to get a Lambo up here. It's going to be you, me, or Brian.
It can
Somebody's
definitely be you. I think I'd rather go for, if I'm going to go, I'm going Model S Plaid.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
That would be crazy, maybe too much. I mean, we're like Model Y, and we're like, ooh, that's a lot of money, $60,000. Model Y, okay, put it on the list, right? So, but when these things start getting 500, 600 miles, that's when I'll take a serious look at the Model S. Hey, guys, this is Robert and Jason, world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us every night, listening, watching us on Facebook, YouTube, all those other channels. Like, smash, give us some stars, all good. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back. This is Robert with Jason here with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. So maybe it is a Lambo for some folks. Maybe it's just early retirement. Maybe it's a boat in a lake house. I have a number of beach houses and condos to pick from. I still don't think I have the right one, so we're going to do a little inventory shuffle in the next 36 months to come up with a nice fat down payment for the one on the. To have a house on the beach and the golf course.
Ooh,
that is rich.
Down in your area, down in
Port Aransas, yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, that's
having on the beach and on the golf course, right?
You're gonna be in it for both, like 2.5.
Yeah, well, I'll probably go cheaper because I have a very frugal partner here.
Oh yeah, you got to convince
we'll get to like the 2-bedroom one, right? But that'll be enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm shopping for lake houses. Oh, almost forgot. We're going to look at one tomorrow.
I'm not, but you are.
Yeah, I almost forgot. Yeah, I'm going up there to take a look, and I'll take the video with me. Yeah. Does Travis live up there somewhere? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he's integral to the
Conroe community. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to go take a look at one tomorrow. We're going to walk it. And, yeah, definitely need the lake house and the boat. We're having just so much fun up there this summer.
You don't want it to end.
No, of course, no, we never want it to end. Party never ends, right? But, you know, again, it comes back to, hey, what do you want out of life? I just thought, you know, I get questions like, what's better, flipping or buying whole? And then I get questions like, what were some of the other questions I have? No one asks the real question. So this is whenever I get in front of somebody, I always ask this question. Somebody I admire who's really successful. In fact, we're going down this track right now with a TV show and all this other stuff. And one of the questions I always like to ask when I get around experts and stuff I don't know is say, hey, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
Sure.
That is especially with somebody who's got a lot of experience, that's an incredibly insightful question.
Yeah. What was your biggest mistake and how'd you recover?
Yeah, that's another one. That's a great follow-up to that, right? Instead of, hey, is this better or is that better? Is A better than B?
Right.
Is C better than D? How do you compare D and A? And it's like, okay, I mean, we can have those conversations, but A, what is it you're trying to accomplish? And then ultimately that next question is, hey, if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently? Yep. So, yeah, it was very fascinating. And then I had a couple of guys where I was like, all right, I said, do you guys mind if I start asking personal questions? And he goes, okay, great. What's your FICO? How much do you make? And what do you got in the bank? And he would tell me, he's like, I got this and this and this. Perfect. Start buy and hold.
Yep.
He's like, I got an 810, I got 150, make like 200 G's a year. Great. All right, here's what you're going to do. Now we've got some stuff. You're going to go start buying some buy and hold real estate.
Yep.
And ignore all this other nonsense about, I'm going to do
all the noise,
owner finance, and then I'm going to do like a deed trust wrap thing, and I'm going to do
freaking noise out there.
you're not going to wholesale. You've got a real job. You've got no time for any of this other nonsense. Just start buying some single family real estate. I said, you're going to buy, I think he said he had 100 G's. I said, you're going to buy somewhere between 3 and 5 of these things.
Yeah. 4 doors. Yeah.
And then you're going to sell them or refinance them in a year. And he's like, what do I do next? Then you're going to buy some more.
Do it again.
And I said, you're going to do that until you reach goal. Now, what's your goal? And then we started having the conversation of what your goal is. So it's no more difficult. And every time, again, we'd switch table, and everybody'd sit down and I'd say, guys, you're making this way more complicated than it is. This is not that complicated.
Yep.
It's buy it, hold it. And I said, here's the problem. I actually did this. Here's the problem with all you really smart people here. Because we had some success. I mean, there's a guy with a bow tie on. I mean, successful wearing a bow tie, right? So I looked around the room and I said, look, here's the problem. You think you're smarter than you really are. And I said, here's the problem. You're going to want to take these hands after you start buying your real estate, and then you're going to want to start trading stuff and do it all. I said, here's how you make money in real estate. You buy it, and I actually did this. I stood up and I put my hands on my rear and sat on them. And I said, you don't do anything. You sit on your hands because how you get rich is by not touching this stuff. But you're smarter than you think you are. You're smarter in the market. You're going to want to play with it. I'm like, don't do that.
Yep.
It's supposed to be passive.
Right.
But the problem is you get in your mind, I got to go to the networking, I got to do this, got to go look at it, I got to do that. Nope. Take your hands and sit on them and wait.
Yep.
It's that simple.
We've had, I've had in the construction business, I didn't do a lot of retail until the green program. But we had a guy, for some reason, he said, hey, I could probably do this myself. And we said, then you probably should.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because that's a big red flag. But he said, no, I'm getting older, blah, blah, blah. So we did everything we were supposed to do. And we're in a house in California. It's got 10-foot ceilings, 9-foot ceilings.
Okay.
Standard ladder is not covering
it's
it,
not,
right?
Yeah.
And then we build this dam around the attic hatch.
Oh, yeah.
So there's another 2 feet above that because we backfill all the attic with
insulation, right? Yeah.
And he climbed up the ladder, and it was not big enough. And then he tried to get into the attic, and then there was a dam there, so he couldn't get over the dam. And the ladder came out from underneath him, and he fell and had compound fractures all over his leg.
Ooh.
And my thought was, why are you up there?
Yeah.
He needed to play with it. I'm like, there's a city inspector coming, and there's a green program inspector coming. There's 2 third-party verifications. Why do you need to go up there?
Yeah, and you don't even know what you're looking at anyway.
He just wanted to play with it. He just wanted to see it, wanted to do it. It's like, you've got to break that mentality. You're the tinkerer guys, right? Mm-hmm. Stop tinkering with this stuff. Just let it run. Mm-hmm. Relax. That's how you're going to have a great retirement, right? That's how you're going to have the great next 20 years of your stuff, because they're all little piggy banks.
That's exactly
just
right.
keep
Yeah.
making more and more money whenever you need. Hey, man, I want to go buy a Lambo. What's a Lambo cost?
Let's call it 350.
$350. Great. I have a house worth $1.1 million in Port Aransas that has $700,000 equity.
Yep.
I can refi that thing out and take my 350 and go buy my Lambo.
Go buy the Lambo.
Yep.
That's
right
right.
now. I could do it right now.
Yeah.
Am I going to do it? No, but it's there.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, man, we get seriously ill. I get something going on. Like, what's the best hospital in Houston? Mm-hmm. Where's the private bed? It's going to cost $500,000. Great, go refi those 5 properties right
Yeah.
there.
I got my $500,000 right
Yep,
here.
I'll get you $500,000, no problem.
You know, one of the craziest stories is there was a guy thanking another investor in town that he had worked with. And he was one of these guys, good job, in great health. Then one day, bang. Literally can't work, all that other stuff. And his big thank you was, if I didn't have real estate, there's no way I could have gotten through. I think he had cancer for about a year and a half. And of course, now he's cancer free and all that other stuff. But he was like, there was no way I could do that and financially survive.
Yeah.
If I didn't have real estate. So it's not just making the money and driving Lambos and all that other nonsense. There's some real good things, and there's some good defense that you can play as you build this portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. Something happens. I mean, what are you going to do, right? So yeah, it's fascinating. It all comes down to, you know, how much money can I make? And I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, you guys are missing the bigger picture here. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. You know, Brian's getting to spend a lot of time with his daughter, but I can tell you, if he still had his medical sales company, there's no way.
Hey, wouldn't even know.
He's working like 80 hours a week, right? And what a great treat that is to be 40-year-old dad, kind of semi-retired, where you can, you know, hang out with your kids.
It's a good life.
It's a very good life because very rarely people have that option, right?
Right. And again, I just don't think, I mean, when people become their job, right, to me, that's the death knell.
I think it's sad.
Yeah, it's like, hey, so what do you do? Well, I'm an anesthesiologist. Oh, okay. Well, I help people,
Yeah.
right? Or I work with sea turtles,
Yeah.
right? That's what I do, right?
Yeah.
Well, how do you have this house? How do you have this car? It's like, oh, I took care of that. Mm-hmm. I spent about 3 to 4 years in Texas and took care of all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And we all have the opportunity to do it right now. Greatest market in the country, and I'm not sure what people are hanging up for. Hey guys, this is Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Check out our website, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr., TX is in Texas, RE is in realestate.com. One more? Yeah, one more. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Robert and Jason with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Well, I don't think many people are going to buy a Lambo.
Oh man, why not?
Well, you know.
You don't see a bunch of our mastermind folks rolling around in a Lambo. I'm trying to think out of all of them. I think that's almost zero.
I think one.
I think one guy will be.
And he would look really awkward. Like, he'd have to roll out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. It's like me trying to get out of the Lambo. It's not good.
I will tell you this. It is fun driving those cars. And they're not like the old Lamborghinis where those things would kill you. They call them widowmakers because they are a nightmare. But what's so funny is that side impact standards have changed so much in the United States that the door sill is really wide.
Yep.
So, especially in a McLaren. And they got those weird scissor doors. So you're like, it's like stepping over, like getting on a horse. Yeah. Which I always wonder, like, how does that work with your date?
I told you, we need to you ever see those like chairs at the pool for the assistant to get in the pool?
Oh, yeah.
You need one of those for your Lambo. You just pull in the chair.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, I can get over, I'm in. Push the button back. That's how you get in your Lambo. It's
So I got a buddy of mine that's got
like a wetsuit.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of it.
You're not getting out.
Just drive around.
So I got a buddy of mine that's got a GT40, which is the Ford race car. If you guys ever see Ford versus Ferrari, that's the car in the movie. And they make a more modern version. But what's funny is the door is also attached to the roof. Mm-hmm. So the roof and the door open at the same time, right? Here's the problem with that. And it's so funny. It happened to this guy a million times. If someone parks next to you, you can't get in or out of your car.
Right.
Because you can't stand up because the roof is in the way and you can't like squeeze through the door. So he goes, I can't tell you how many times me and my wife have been out and we park it. Then maybe they don't have valet, right? We just park at some little restaurant we're going to in the neighborhood. And he goes, we go in, and then we come out, and I'm the guy that's got to walk in and say, hey, can someone...
who's got the Chevy Malibu,
who's
the
got the
maroon Chevy Malibu?
Or the F-150 here? I can't get in my $500,000 car. Somebody could...
Well, that's the summon command for Tesla.
Oh, that's right.
Just summon your car to you.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
You know, Drake did that the other night, the last super investor meeting I was at.
Cool?
He was like, watch this. And it kind of did a weird like S, and then it ended up parking over here. He's like, well, you know, they're still working on it.
Too many lines on that parking lot.
There is. That's what it is. There's a ton of lines there. So anyway, here's the deal. What do you guys want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Because you can do it all with real estate.
You can.
It's one of the few professions.
Just can't do it all in year one.
You can't do it all in year one.
Yeah.
You can change a lot of things in about 6 months. Your biggest problems in life you can solve in about 6 months.
Most of them, yep.
Big ones, maybe a year. But it's pretty hard to grow super huge in real estate in a year. In 5 years, you can make a lot of progress.
Yeah. We're living proof. Teslas.
I can tell you're ready for a nap.
Well, I'm thinking about... finally the kid showed up and finished my house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So the kid came over. My ride's looking good. So
yeah. This guy who was cleaning up my house, they waylaid him and made him do the detailing on their cars.
They got a car detail business. So
meanwhile, my backyard is all discombobulated. I'm like, all right, hey, when's someone coming back? They came back last night and they underbid it. They underbid it. They came in at $240. I'm like, first of all, that's way too cheap. I texted, it's in my text. I was like, he's like $240 and I'll do this for an extra $20. I'm like, I'll take the extra and charge me $350 because it's still too much. And at the end of the night, they were just covered because I had there's no more trees growing in my gutter.
Oh, okay.
Cleaned out the gutter, but they were just covered in muck.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you better get better at bidding, my friend. I felt bad. I gave you an extra $70 on this job, right? They got it finished, but now I'm looking at that roof, and I'm like, it's time for
a new roof?
Time for Tesla.
Ah.
No, I think my roof is about 6 to 8 years old. I was told that, like, the guy I bought it from was only there for like a year and a half and then got shipped off to Midland. He was only there for 18 months, and the folks behind them had the problems around here.
Yeah.
The guy behind them had done the roof before he sold. So I think I'm like less than 8 years now.
Okay.
So now is the time to move, though. If 10 years or less, you just put the stuff up on there. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to go ahead and order it, get it done.
Well, I don't want to call Tesla out on my house until we get the electrical stuff up. And then it's like, okay.
That's happening very quickly. As soon as that permit's through, we're good. Yeah.
I figure it's around the corner. But I was thinking about the other day, I'm like, God, I got to get these guys out here. I want to say my quote was 25 G's?
Yeah, they'll finance it at 1%.
Yeah, it's wild.
You'll do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost done with the loading order. So we did the refi on the house. Super happy about that. Then she's got some properties, and I've got the two big $1 million properties down in Port Aransas. I got a refi out going down. I got one guy at 5.5% owner finance. It's going to be less than 3%. And the other one's still with private lender at 10%, and that's going to be like about 3%.
Yeah.
So big time savings there, getting all that stuff. Again, we got 28 months, time to get I think I'm going to start my own little podcast on the steps to retirement.
It'd be great.
28
Rob
months.
Steps to Retirement.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to start doing. But anyway, got that done, and now we're like, okay, we can buy something because no one's pulling my credit for the next 90 days.
Perfect. Lambo.
So I'm like, should it be solar? I'm thinking like, should it be my solar because they're going to want to pull it, or should I do something else with it? Right? Maybe do some more refis and move the dial up on those. But yeah, we came through the summer and protected our FICO, and now we're ready to do something else. I think come November I'll be ready for another pull. So I got to figure out, and I think it might be Tesla. It might be solar.
Yeah, just the fact that solar with a power wall.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I think
badass.
we'll.
I'm gonna get 2 battery packs because I think that's about in my house. It's almost 3 days of living, and I just bought my mini split from Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Showed up at the house yesterday. There's a mini split in my foyer, It's like, okay, this is going up
going
there, so we can
upstairs.
shut the central air off and just only
love it.
one room I need.
Yeah.
There'll be an ice box in there. I'm like, perfect.
It's great.
Yeah, I was like, get the winter blankets out. We're going.
Yeah,
It's going to be cold.
It's Christmas in July.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what's left. I don't know. Maybe do the pool over. I don't know.
Put a hot tub in.
I do want to put a hot tub in, but I also want the pool down in Port Aransas. So
My guy can add a hot tub to the pool.
that's the guy I got to talk to.
Yeah, he can add it
That's
right
what
because
I
he's doubling the size of mine and taking in part of the pool. Because my pool's yours is bigger than mine, but it's like it's ridiculous how big. It's like 615 square feet or something wild. So
Yeah, I think we're gonna go for it. Yeah.
all you got to do is just take one of those corners and just take out the corner in the shower.
I was gonna take out the half and then move the entrance right off the back door.
Okay.
It'll be working. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But these are good, man. And these are all my things that are going on because we've been successful real estate for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are going to be having these same conversations with your partners and your spouses and trying to figure things out because, hey, you've got all these things refied. I've got a couple $1 million in equity. I can get lines of credit. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, I probably should go grab a personal line of credit, right? So I can stroke a check for the pool and not have to worry about it. So
Yeah.
that's the stuff that we're talking about. That's the stuff that you're going to have. It can be a Lambo. It can be a jacuzzi in your building your pool. It can be paying down your house. All these things are going to be available to you if you start working in real estate and start getting your portfolio together. And I'm not talking about wholesaling or flipping. I'm talking about buying and holding.
Yeah, building real wealth.
Yeah.
Buying real wealth.
So you think you changed any minds last night?
I think so because I had a couple guys, like we did it all and then we did networking afterwards and a bunch of guys came up to me and they were like, you know what's so shocking is I talk to folks like they're an adult, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because I got to shock you into this.
Yes.
Because you've been conditioned to all this. So a bunch of guys came up afterwards. They're like, dude, the 5 minutes was amazing. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not lying to you like everybody else is. Like, you can do this and you'll be a gazillionaire. It's like, look, here's the step. Now, what you want is certainly obtainable.
Right.
Like this one guy wanted to do development, make $10 million a year. I said, you got a 10-year ramp here, buddy.
For sure.
He said, you don't do development now, right? No, but you need to go work for a developer right now. But anyway, so what the goals you want to achieve, you can.
Absolutely.
The question is, do you have enough time?
That's the big one. I want my time back. I mean, 28 months, I want my time back. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Robert Jason, Mr. Texas Real Estate. We'll be back in a little bit. Bye.